Fine, Rikin. So we continue with more examples on PMI. Urundan, fine. Suppose we have a language L is a to the power 3, a to the power 7. And we have to show that another language L1, a to the power n, such that n greater than equal to 12 is a subset of L star that we have to show. So language L, it is containing only two elements, a to the power 3 and a to the power 7. So a to the power 3, it means the string AAA, AAA. Similarly, 7As. These are two elements in L. Now we have to show that another language L1 is a to the power n starting with n equal to 12. So it is something like L1 has elements A12, A13, A14, A15, so on and so forth. We have to show that L1 is a subset of L star. We'll show this using principle of mathematical induction. L1 is a subset of L star that we have to show. Now, when we say L star, then the elements of L star are A3, A7, then all combinations of A3, A7, A6, A14, A10, all of these are elements in L star. A3, A7, then take any combination of A3, 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 that is A6, A3, 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 that is A9, A3, A7, that is A10, A3, A7, A7, maybe A17, A7, A7, A14, etc. So these are all elements in L star. That is the definition of star applied to a language L. These are elements, only two elements are there in L, a to the power 3 and a to the power 7. When we generate elements of L star, we have all the combinations of A3, A7, A3 itself, say A3, A6, A9, etc. A7 individually, and then the newly generated strings. All of them are in L star. So we have to show that L1, which contains A12, A13, A14, A15, etc., a to the power n, where n is greater than equal to 12. That is my L1. And L1 is a subset of L star. This L star is generated from L using the elements a to the power 3 and a to the power 7. This is the problem statement. Is the statement clear? Problem statement clear? Okay, Keval, fine. Abhi, fine. Urundan, Janil, Rikin, okay. Now, we'll slightly reformulate the statement. Same thing, we cannot change the meaning. Without changing the meaning, we reformulate the statement as, let Pn be the statement a to the power n belongs to L star for n greater than equal to 12. L1 is a subset of L star. So L1 contains A12, A13, A14, so on and so forth. So we'll show that all such elements, A12, A13, A14, etc., they belong to L star. So automatically L1 becomes a subset of L star. All the elements which are there in L1, a to the power n, where n is greater than equal to 12. So A12, A13, etc. will show that all these elements are there in L star. So automatically L1 becomes a subset of L star. So let Pn be the statement. We are making the statement a simplified one. A to the power n belongs to L star. This is my simplified statement. Instead of L1 to be a subset of L star, we'll say a to the power n belongs to L star, where L is A3, A7. This is my statement, and we want to prove Pn for n greater than equal to 12, because A12, A13, all these elements which are there in L1 has to be there in L star. So we want to prove Pn for n greater than equal to 12. The reformulated statement is a to the power n belongs to L star for n greater than equal to 12. This is my statement. Is this fine, students, up to this point? Okay, Kaushal, Keval, fine. Fine, Avi. Now, basis, we are going to use PMI. So we'll have basis, hypothesis, induction statement. The basis is the initial value of n, which is 12, and we have to show that P12 is true, that is a to the power 12 belongs to L star. Initial value of n is 12, that forms the basis. My statement is a to the power n belongs to L star. The starting value of n is 12, so we have to show in the basis that a to the power 12 belongs to L star, and not difficult to show that a to the power 12 belongs to L star. How do we show that? Given L equal to A3 A7, a to the power 3, a to the power 7, A3 A7 L, how do we show that A12 belongs to L star? A3 4 times, Kaushal rightly said. That is how we obtain elements of L star. A3 is there, so if we repeat that pattern 4 times, A3, 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 then as per the definition of star, that string is also there in L star. So A3 raised to 4 belongs to L star because A3 belongs to L. Once A3 belongs to L, then A3 to the power 4 belongs to L star. That is how star defined. That is how we'll see the definition of star later on also. In the first chapter also you must have seen formal recursive definition of L star. We'll discuss in this chapter when we take on the topic recursive definitions. Fine. So A12 is A3 to the power 4, and because A3 belongs to L, A3 to the power 4, repetition of this pattern A3 4 times belongs to L star, and that is proved. Hypothesis, again we start by specifying the range of K. Range of K is same as range of N, because that is true for any N. The statement Pk is true for any K that is there in N. So range of K same as range of N. K greater than equal to 12, and Pk is true, that is a to the power K belongs to L star for K greater than equal to 12. Hypothesis, N equal to K, assumption the statement is true. When the statement is a to the power n belongs to L star, so n equal to K, so that becomes a to the power K belongs to L star for K greater than equal to 12. Next is my induction statement. A to the power K plus 1 belongs to L star. That becomes induction statement. N equal to K plus 1, the statement is true, is to be proved. So A to the power K plus 1 belongs to L star. That becomes our statement. We need to prove that. How do we prove this? A to the power K plus 1 belongs to L star. How do we prove this? Any idea? A to the power K plus 1 belongs to L star. See, we can write A to the power K plus 1 is A to the power K minus 2, then A3. And write A to the power K plus 1 is A to the power K minus 2, and then A3. But AK belongs to L star. A to the power K belongs to L star as per the hypothesis. We do not have any idea regarding the presence of the string A to the power K minus 2 in L star. A to the power K belongs to L star for K greater than equal to 12. That is fine. But do not have any idea about the string A to the power K minus 2. We can write A to the power K plus 1 is A to the power K minus 2, then A3. A3 is already there in L, and had this A to the power K minus 2 been there in either L or L star, then this A to the power K minus 2, A3 belongs to L star. But we do not have any clue regarding the presence of A to the power K minus 2 in L star. In fact, we are unable to make any statement. We cannot further move in this particular example using the current form of PMI. Either a to the power k minus 2 a3 we can write, or maybe we can write ak dot ak plus 1 equal to a to the power k dot a. But then again, a is not there in L, so we cannot make any further progress in proving a to the power k plus 1 in L star. So what we do, we try for another form of PMI called the strong form of PMI. Next we try what is called the strong form of PMI, which is stated like this. Let me see if it is there. Yeah. We go for another version of principle of mathematical induction. So far, whatever we have discussed, that is called weaker form of PMI, weaker form of principle of mathematical induction. Now we are discussing what is called the strong form of PMI, strong principle of mathematical induction. And what is that? Pn is a statement involving integer n, no difference as it is. To prove Pn is true for every n greater than equal to n0, no difference. It is sufficient to show the following things. P of n0 is true, number one, again no difference, same as weaker form of PMI. Whatever we have discussed till date, that was weaker form of PMI. So we have to prove the base case, P of n0 is true, no difference, only difference comes at this point in statement number 2. For any k greater than equal to n0, if Pn is true for every n satisfying n0 less than equal to n less than equal to k, then P of k plus 1 is true. So this is the difference in step number 2. This is the difference between the strong form of PMI and the weaker form of PMI. Do you understand what is the difference? Anyone understand the difference? Can anyone explain in simple words what the difference is? Anyone? May unmute and tell me. Step number 2, what the difference is? Can unmute and tell me. Yes, Keval, please.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, in a weaker form of mathematical induction, in the second statement, we have condition like n0 less than or equal to k. But in this strong form of PMI, we have condition is n0 less than or equal to n less than or equal to k.
So, fine. So, what does this imply? In the previous case, the weaker form, P of k implies P of k plus 1. If P of k is true, then P of k plus 1 is true. Whereas here, now we don't talk about single value, n equal to k. We talk about range of values starting with n0 till k. So we talk in terms of P of n, where n ranges from n0 till k. So if the statement Pn is true for the entire range starting with n0 till n equal to k, then only it is required that P of k plus 1 is true. So that assumption part, now there is a set of values. The statement is true for P of n0 up till P of k. If that is the case, then it is required that P of k plus 1 is true. In the weaker form, only one. If the statement is true for n equal to k, then the statement has to be true for n equal to k plus 1. Fine. Okay, Keval, fine. That's fine. So this is the meaning of the statement that is given. For the entire range, if the statement Pn, we don't talk about Pk. In the earlier case, we were talking about only single value n equal to k. Single value n equal to k. Whereas here, we talk about set of values. Assumption part, the condition becomes strong. Actually, when we put more conditions, if the statement is true for P of n0 up till P of k, then it is required that the statement is true for n equal to k plus 1. Whereas if you look at this statement, let me see if I can go there. Only single value, P of k. So here we talk about P of k, whereas there we talk about P of n, where n is starting from n0 till n equal to k. For the entire range, if the statement is true, then only the statement has to be true for k plus 1. Whereas here, for a single value, n0, a single value k, which is greater than equal to n0, if P of k is true, then P of k plus 1 is true. So that's the difference between the weaker form and the stronger form of PMI. We continue. Okay, let us apply this stronger form of PMI to our previous example. No change in the basis part. So statement Pn as it is, basis as it is, only change starts from hypothesis part. Only change is in the hypothesis as such. So here we talk about Pn and not Pk. We don't talk about single value n equal to k, whereas here we talk about the range 12 is less than equal to n, less than equal to k. So k greater than equal to 12 as it is, we specify range of k which is same as range of n, and here instead of pk we write Pn is true for all n in the range 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k. So this becomes my modified hypothesis is, for the last example we are applying a stronger form of PMI. So this statement now we are trying to prove using a stronger form of PMI. So no change in the Pn statement as it is, no change in the basis, same statement and same proof. The difference is in the hypothesis part, and we have rewritten the hypothesis. The hypothesis we talk about Pn and not Pk, and n is 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k, that is range of n. That is my assumption. That is my assumption. That is a to the power n. Earlier we were talking about a to the power k belongs to L star, whereas here we talk about a to the power n belongs to L star. 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k, that is range of n. Previous case, a to the power k belongs to L star, that is what we had written in the hypothesis. A to the power k belongs to L star, single value n equal to k, k greater than equal to 12 and p of k. Here we specify range and it is Pn. So Pn is true for all n with 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k, that is a to the power n belongs to L star in the range 12 up till k, 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k. Once again, there is no change in the induction statement. A to the power k plus 1 belongs to A star. P of k plus 1 is true. Now we have more conditions. Assumption part is strengthened. The statement is true for the entire range that is given to us. In that earlier case, the statement was true for for n equal to k, whereas here for the entire range 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k, the statement is given to be true. So now I have multiple values for which the statement is assumed to be true. So it becomes a simplified task. For multiple values, the statement is assumed to be true. Now I have to prove the statement is true for the next value, k plus 1. So P of k plus 1 is true. That is a to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star, no change. The proof. Again, we are taking the approach of dividing the proof into the cases. Dividing the proof into the cases, that approach we are taking. And we are dividing into 3 cases, k12, k13, k greater than equal to 14. Why these cases? We'll come back to that soon. K is starting, n is starting with 12. K is also starting with 12. Range of k and n same. So we are taking 3 cases, case k equal to 12. The second case is k equal to 13 and the third case is k greater than equal to 14. So let us prove why these cases. We'll discuss very soon. When k equal to 12, I need to show that a to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. So a to the power 13 belongs to L star, that I have to show, and not difficult because I can write a to the power 13 is A7, A3, A3. In any combination, you can write A3, A3, A7 as you wish. We have to show that a to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star when k is 12. That is my case number 1. So a to the power k plus 1 is a to the power 13. I have written that as a7, a3, a3. And I can write that because a3 and a7 are both elements of L. So a7, a3, a3. It is also there in L star. A to the power n belongs to L star. A to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. That is my induction statement. N equal to k plus 1. A to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. That is the statement I have to prove. So when k equal to 12, I have proved that a to the power 13 belongs to L star. I take second case as k equal to 13. That is my case number 2. K is 13. So I have to show a to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. So that becomes a to the power 14. And once again I can show that a to the power 14 belongs to L star because it is written as a7, a7, and a7 is in L. Because a7, a to the power 7 is in L, a7, a7 belongs to L star as per the definition of star applied to the language L. So case number 2, k equal to 13, a to the power k plus 1 becomes a to the power 14, and that belongs to L star because a to the power 14 is a7, a7, and a7 belongs to L, and a7 belongs to L. And I am taking the third case as case k greater than equal to 14. General case. Required, I have to prove it for n greater than equal to 12. I have to prove that. So I have proved for k equal to 12. I have proved for k equal to 13. Now I am proving for k greater than equal to 14. It will cover all the values. Only two values, 12 and 13. I have taken that separately. 14 onwards, I have to prove the statement for k greater than equal to 12. That is my range of k hypothesis, k greater than equal to 12. So I have taken k equal to 12, one case, k equal to 13, the second case, k greater than equal to 14. That will cover all remaining values of k. So that is my case number 3. That is my case number 3. So here I am writing a to the power k plus 1 is a to the power k minus 2 and a3. I have to show that a to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. Under this case, the value of k is greater than equal to 14. I am writing a to the power k plus 1 is a to the power k minus 2, a to the power 3. Now a to the power 3 belongs to L, and a to the power k minus 2, when k is greater than equal to 14, I substitute that value. Let us take the first value, k equal to 14. Under this case, let us take the first value, the smallest value. It is when k equal to 14. So when I put 14 in a to the power k minus 2, that becomes a to the power 12. That becomes a to the power 12. And as per the hypothesis, a to the power n belongs to L star for 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k. A to the power 12 belongs to L star. That is from the hypothesis. For the entire range starting with 12 up to k, a to the power n belongs to L star. That is as per the hypothesis. So when I say a to the power k minus 2, when k is greater than equal to 14, so if I put say k equal to 14, then this becomes a to the power 12, a to the power 3, and a to the power 12 belongs to L star. In fact, you take any value, 14, 15, 16, 17, etc., etc. All these values belongs to L star as per the hypothesis for the entire range starting with 12. Starting with 12, A12, A13, A14, etc., etc. That belongs to L star using hypothesis. We don't need to show them individually. A raised to n belongs to L star starting with 12. So A12, A13, A14, all these values belongs to L star as per the hypothesis up till a to the power k. So a to the power k minus 2 also belongs to L star. And once a to the power k minus 2 belongs to L star, then appending a3, which belongs to L, there is an element that belongs to L star, that is a to the power k minus 2. Then a to the power 3, that's a string that belongs to L. So if I have an element in L star and an element in L, then the new string is also in L star. That is the definition. That is as per the definition of L star. A to the power k minus 2 belongs to L star because of hypothesis. A3 belongs to L. We already know L equal to A3, A7. So if there is a string that belongs to L star, into that we append an element of L, then we get a new string that belongs to L star as per the definition of L star. So here under case number 3 also, we proved that the string A to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. In fact, under all the three cases, k equal to 12, k equal to 13, k greater than equal to 14. Under all the three cases, we have proved that A to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. Therefore, for the entire range, the statement is true. We have divided the range into the three cases, k equal to 12, k equal to 13, and then k greater than equal to 14. If we sum up these three cases, then we have proved the statement for all the possible values. Therefore, the statement P of k plus 1 is true. That is, A to the power k plus 1 belongs to L star. Is the proof clear? And my next question is, why did we take those cases, case 1 and case 2 separately? Why we didn't cover that under case 3? Why wasn't a single case, a single statement in the induction proof? Yes? Who would answer? Why did we take case 1 and case 2 separately? Any doubt in this? Don't try to answer, doesn't matter if you can't answer why we took those cases separately. But whatever we said, is that clear to all? Okay, Rikin, Keval, fine. Now, Jenny, Labhi, Jeet, okay. Now can anyone unmute and answer why did we take those cases separately, case 1, case 2? In fact, I have already written leftmost the answer for that. Separate cases. A to the power k plus 1, just read that. Left of the curly bracket. Separate cases is A to the power k plus 1 is A to the power k minus 2 A3. And if I put k equal to 12 and k equal to 13, when I put k equal to 12 and k equal to 13 in A to the power k minus 2, I get A to the power 10 and A to the power 11. What we have written? Just look at case number 3. We have written A to the power k plus 1 is A to the power k minus 2 and A to the power 3. And if I put k equal to 12, then that becomes A10, A3. When I put k equal to 13, that becomes A11, A3. Now look at the hypothesis. It says A10 belongs to L star starting with n equal to 12. 12 less than equal to n less than equal to k. Hypothesis does not permit us to assume that A to the power 10 and A to the power 11 belongs to L star. Hypothesis tells that An belongs to L star starting with n equal to 12. A12 onwards, all those strings are there in L star. Nothing is said about A to the power 10 and A to the power 11. And I put k equal to 12 in this A to the power k minus 2, I get A to the 10 string, and when I put 13, I get A to the power 11 string. And A10, A raised to 10, A raised to 11, nothing is said about the presence of that string in L star. Therefore, we have to take k equal to 12 and k equal to 13 as separate cases. K greater than equal to 14. When I put k equal to 14, that becomes A12, 15, A13. All those strings are there in L star because of hypothesis, but not the strings A to the power 10 and A to the power 11. Therefore, we have taken k equal to 12 and k equal to 13 as separate cases. Whatever we argue in case 3, it is true when this A to the power k minus 2, that is at least A to the power 12 as per the hypothesis. A12 onwards, that is true, that belongs to L star. A10, A11, we can't use the hypothesis for claiming that A to the power 10 and A to the power 11 belongs to L star. Therefore, we have to write them as separate cases. Is that clear? Explanation, is that clear? Keval, fine. Explanation is clear. Harsh, Jeet, okay. Love, fine. Fine. Jenny, fine. Yeah. So this was the stronger form of PMI. In the earlier case, what happened? We were not able to claim that a to the power k minus 2 belongs to L star, because only a to the power k belongs to L star. That was the case. Over this a to the power k plus 1. So here, as per the hypothesis, only a to the power k belongs to L star. Only one value, one assumption, weaker assumption. Now, in the case of stronger, we have a stronger assumption. For more values, the statement is true. More conditions. When we say strong, it means more conditions. So here, the strong form of PMI, we could take the assumption up till k, starting with 12, and starting with 12 up to k. For all these values, the statement is assumed to be true. Therefore, it covered this, our case number 3. It covered a to the power k minus 2 also. It covered a to the power k minus 2 also. Extended assumption. For the entire range, the statement is assumed to be true. And we required that it is true for this a to the power k minus 2, except first two cases, that is fine. Otherwise, for all other values a to the power k minus 2, the statement was assumed to be true. That is belonging to L star. Therefore, now we can safely claim that a to the power k minus 2, A3 belongs to L star for k greater than or equal to 14. So that is the benefit of stronger form of PMI. Next example we take. This is the statement. To show that Pn is true for every n greater than or equal to 2, and here is the statement. Here is a statement. For every n greater than or equal to 2, the statement is n is either a prime number, n is either a prime number or a product of 2 or more primes. This is a statement for n greater than or equal to 2. N is either a prime number or a product of 2 or more primes. This statement will prove using PMI. And whenever we don't have any idea about which form of PMI to take, now we have two forms of PMI. So there we have to make some intuitional judgment whether we are going for the weaker form of PMI or the stronger form of PMI. We'll discuss that statement further also. So n is either a prime number or a product of 2 or more primes for n greater than or equal to 2. This is my statement, will prove using PMI. N is either a prime number or product of 2 or more primes for n greater than or equal to 2. This is my statement. So in the basis n equal to 2, and 2 is a prime number. N is either a prime or a product of 2 or more primes. So in this case, 2 is a prime number. That completes proof for the basis. P2 is the statement that 2 is either a prime or a product of 2 or more primes, and the statement is true because 2 is a prime number. Hypothesis. Now, my intuitional judgment here is I'm going to need the assumption for multiple values. The statement is true for more than one value. This is my intuition. And based on that, I go for the stronger form of PMI. I decide to use the stronger form of PMI. Whenever we feel like that in the assumption part, I require the statement to be true for more than one value, for multiple values. In that case, we need the stronger form of PMI. For that, we write hypothesis accordingly. So here, with that assumption, we are writing hypothesis for stronger form of PMI. So k greater than or equal to 2. Here we talk about n and not k, stronger form of PMI. And for every 2 less than or equal to n less than or equal to k, n is either a prime or product of 2 or more primes. Had this been the weaker form of PMI, only single value, and here we would have said k is either a prime or a product of 2 or more primes. Because we want assumption to be for multiple values, We are going for the stronger form of PMI. We have to state the range of n. So 2 less than equal to n less than equal to k. N is either a prime or a product of 2 or more primes. So this is my hypothesis. Basis, if it is weaker form or the stronger form, basis and induction statement remain unchanged. Only change in the hypothesis part. Statement Pn remains same. Statement Pn remains same. Range of specifying range of n remains same. Basis part remains same. The proof remains same. Only change is in the hypothesis. No change in the induction statement. P of k plus 1 is true. So k plus 1 is either a prime or product of 2 or more primes. K plus 1 is either a prime or product of 2 or more primes. So how do we go about proving this induction statement? How do we proceed? Think about this. How do we prove this? K plus 1 is either a prime or product of 2 or more primes. How do we prove this? How to proceed? How to proceed? Think about this for 2-3 minutes and then we go further. We have to prove that k plus 1 is either a prime or product of 2 or more primes. How do we move further? As per the statement, factors are only primes. As per the statement, generally you said check if k plus 1 is prime. If not, check for its factor to be prime. Approach is absolutely fine. And if you don't get any idea how to move further, how to prove this, if you don't get any idea, then think about dividing the proof into the cases. Dividing the proof into the cases, that could be a possible way. If you don't get directly how to prove this statement, think about the dividing the proof into the cases, and then no, now those are smaller cases and easier to prove. And you have rightly said, actually, in your answer, check if k plus 1 is prime, and if not, check for its x factors to be prime. So those are actually our cases. K plus 1 is prime. If not, check for the factors to be prime. So our cases, it is involving k plus 1. Check if k plus 1 is prime. That is my case number 1. And case number 2 is k plus 1 is not prime. Slight modification in your second part. So we divide the proof into the cases, and it's always true. K plus 1 is either prime or it is not. Nothing beyond that. So my cases are proof number 1. In the proof, my case number 1, k plus 1 is prime. In my second case is k plus 1 is not prime. So this proof, we have divided into the cases, and the first case is k plus 1 is prime. Second case is k plus 1 is not prime, and anything else is not possible. I'm not missing any number. I'm not missing any possibility. Either k plus 1 is prime or it is not. That's it. So if k plus 1 is prime, that is my case number 1. That is what I have to prove. K plus 1 is either prime or product of 2 or more primes. So in case number 1, the assumption is k plus 1 is prime, and if it is the assumption, then it is a statement. Then that is my induction statement. K plus 1 is either prime or product of 2 or more primes. Case 1, that is k plus 1 is prime. That is my statement. Nothing to be proved. Now case number 2, k plus 1 is not prime. K plus 1 is not prime. K plus 1 is not prime. And because it is not prime, then I can write k plus 1 as r star s. Now second case, now k plus 1 is known to be not a prime number. When it is prime, the statement is true. When it is not prime, it means I can write k plus 1 as product of some numbers r and s for some positive integers r and s. Case number 2, k plus 1 is not prime. It means I can write k plus 1 as r star s for some positive integers r and s. And the range of r and s is greater than 1. It's not prime. So it's factorable. So r and s has to be greater than 1 and also less than k plus 1. Then only we say it is not a prime. Other than 1 and the number itself, it is a factor. K plus 1, that is equal to r star s, and it has factors r and s. It is written as product of r and s, where r and s is greater than 1 and less than k plus 1. The factors of k plus 1 are other than 1 and k plus 1 because it is known to be not a prime number. It means rs greater than 1, rs less than k plus 1. It means actually is in the range 2 to k. Is in the range, I think, let me go to, yeah, okay. K plus 1 is r star s, rs greater than 1 and less than k plus 1. It means these numbers r and s, they are falling in the range 2 to k. They are falling in the range 2 to k. And for the range 2 to k, as per the hypothesis, for the range 2 to k, as per the hypothesis, n is either a prime number or can be factored into primes. So here, they have shown that k plus 1 equal to r star s and 2 less than equal to r comma s less than equal to k. They are in the range 2 to k, r and s individually. And for any number in the range 2 to k, n is either a prime number or can be factored as product of primes. That is the statement using hypothesis. That is my hypothesis. So now I have shown that rs, r and s are in the range 2 and k. Means r and s, they are either prime numbers or can be factored as product of primes. In this particular case, case number 2, that was my case. R and S are either prime or product of 2 or more primes. Therefore, k plus 1 is a product of 2 or more primes. That is the statement. R and S, k plus 1 equal to r star s. R and S are either prime or product of 2 or more primes. Therefore, k plus 1 is a product of 2 or more primes. That is my statement. That completes the proof for case number 2. That completes the proof for case number 2. Sigma case 1, case 2. That is my statement P of k plus 1. That completes the statement k plus 1. So here it was difficult. I mean, through many mathematical calculations, it was getting difficult to prove the statement. So we decided to go for dividing the proof into the cases approach. And k plus 1, there are two possibilities. What could be the, so we decided to take k plus 1 the cases were in terms of k plus 1, and we have decided to take case 1 as k plus 1 is prime and k plus 1 not prime, the second case. only these two possibilities are possible, and we decided for k plus 1 because that was our ultimate statement. We wanted to prove that k plus 1 is either prime or product of two or more primes. Therefore, we appropriately designed the cases, and the cases were in terms of k plus 1. Either it is prime or it is not prime. That's it. If it is prime, nothing to be proved. If it is not prime, then we used the hypothesis. We said it's factorable. That is the meaning of not prime. Factorable in the range 2 to k. That is required to use the hypothesis. And that is the reason we have gone for the stronger form of PMI. Not only for single value, we require the statement to be true. For the entire range of n starting with 2 to k, the statement has to be true. It is required. In this case, for the entire range, the statement is true. Then only we can say k plus 1 is prime or factorable into primes. So for assumption for single value was not sufficient because we wanted RNS to be true for 2 up till k. That was required. Therefore, we decided earlier to go for the stronger form of PMI. For the entire range from 2 to k, the statement has to be true. That was the requirement. That was going to be the requirement. So with that intuition, we went for the stronger form of PMI. And once we have the entire range of the statement to be true, then we can say Rn is either they are individually prime or product of primes. Therefore, k plus 1 is a product of prime. Therefore, k plus 1 is a product of prime in the second case. Nothing to be proved in the first case. And sigma case 1, case 2, that is my statement P of k plus 1. So that completes the proof. Is that clear? Is that clear? Kaushal, fine. Keval, fine. Jit, Abhi. Rikin, Harsh Patel. Janil, okay. Okay. We'll take many such examples in the subsequent chapters. Throughout this course, we'll be using the PMI, either the weaker form or the stronger form. Many more examples will be discussed later. Next, we discuss what is called the Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. The Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. It's a principle, and we'll prove a principle using PMI. PMI is very powerful. The statement or the principles or the theorem can be proved using PMI. This is one such principle. The Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. We will prove this principle using principle of mathematical induction. Principle getting proved using another principle. It's a big name, otherwise it's actually a very simple statement. The name is big, Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. Otherwise, this is a very simple statement. This is the statement. What is the principle? The statement very simple actually. Every non-empty subset of n, the set of natural numbers, has a smallest element. Very, very simple statement actually. Very big name. The Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. A very big name. Actually a very simplified statement. Every non-empty subset of n, the set of natural numbers, has a smallest element. So I have n the set of natural numbers. I take various subsets. In each of these subset, there is a smallest element. That is the statement. For example, if I take say 1, 2, 3, then in 1, 2, 3, my smallest element is 1. 1, 5, 9, the smallest element is 1. 7, 3, 2, the smallest element is 2. So you take any non-empty subset of n, the set of natural numbers has a smallest element. Seems to be a very obvious statement. This is termed as the Weil ordering principle of natural numbers. Statement is simple, but then we need to formally prove it. Formal proof is important. Statement may be simple, but formal argument is important. That argument will make using principle of mathematical induction. So we'll prove the Weil ordering principle of natural numbers using principle of mathematical induction, and probably the stronger form of PMI. Fine. So PN be the statement. Now here, again, what should be my statement P of n? This non-empty subset of n, that n is not the n that we are looking for. That is not integer n. This n written in that italic, that is the set of natural numbers. That n is the set of natural numbers, whereas n that is required in Pn statement to use PMI, that is integer n. So what should be my statement Pn? What could be my statement Pn? What could be my statement Pn? Do you see that in this statement, once again, n is missing. The integer n that is required in the statement is missing. N which is there, that is the set of natural numbers, but the integer n that is required in this statement is missing. So somehow we have to introduce n. Somehow we have to introduce n. Integer n is missing in the statement. Every non-empty subset of n, the set of natural numbers, has the smallest element. This statement does not contain integer n. It is missing. So we have to explicitly introduce integer n. How can we do that? Anyone can answer this? Unmuting. Anyone can answer this? Unmuting. Pn statement requires integer n missing. How can we explicitly introduce integer n in our reformulated statement? Anyone can unmute and answer if you have answer. If you want to answer, can unmute and reply. What should be the answer? What should be the statement? Every statement Pn, every non-empty subset of n containing n. Every non-empty subset of n containing n has the smallest element. This will be my statement Pn. Every subset of n containing small n. Every subset of capital N, that is the set of natural number, containing n. That is how we are introducing explicitly integer n. Every non-empty subset of n containing n has the smallest element. That becomes my new statement. That becomes my new statement. Every non-empty subset of n containing n is the smallest element. That becomes my new statement. And this we have to prove for n greater than equal to 1. This we have to prove for n greater than equal to 1. The statement is to be proved for n greater than equal to 1. And we'll continue this in the next lecture. We'll prove this in the next lecture. We are here stopping.